I'm again here with my friend Andrew, and we've been talking about miracles and healings that we've been able to see the Lord do recently. And just recently I was back in Canada and speaking at the end of this one message I was sharing, I was talking about faith and having faith for miracles to see the power of God. And during the ministry time, I had a picture come in my mind as a word of knowledge of a person's foot, and it had corns or warts, some kind of little bumps all over the foot. And so I spoke that out. I said, I feel like God's wanting to heal someone here who has corns or warts on their foot. And so this story is cool because nothing happened immediately, but a mother who had been praying for her two kids, both of her kids had warts on their feet for a long time, and mom had been praying and praying and nothing had happened. But she heard me speaking about having faith and asking again that God would heal. So she went home that night and decided that that night she was going to lay hands on her kids and pray and believe again that God was going to heal her kids. So she prays over her son and her daughter that evening, and the daughter ends up going off to sleep. They never checked her feet, but the son, she prays over his feet that they would be healed of these warts. And so her son's like, well, let's look. So he pulls his socks off, they look, and all the warts had gone. So then the next morning, the daughter, she hears this story how the son had been healed, or her brother, and she's like, well, maybe I should check my feet as well. So she ends up taking her socks off, and the Lord had healed both of these kids of warts. And so that just really encouraged me, and I know that there's many more people that are growing in words of knowledge and hearing the voice of God and stepping out and seeing healing happen. And Andrew, you've been telling me how you've had some of these similar experiences recently, so why don't you share a couple of them?
Yeah, so I've been asking the Lord just to move more in the word of knowledge and just, you know, his heart for prayer. So yeah, I just started, I asked and I was hungry and I just started asking him more and more and just to listen, you know, what was going on. And so I began to, all of a sudden, I was like sitting in the community bus going around town, and all of a sudden I would get depression. And so the Lord's like, pray for depression. Like somebody in here struggling with depression, so I'd start praying for that. My head, I'd start getting headaches, so I'd start praying for that. Just to begin to move in that, you know. And
so you're saying that you started feeling things in your body, and that was a tip-off that God was speaking to you about praying for that for someone else.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really hard. I was like, what is this, you know? And I just began to do it, and the Lord was showing me more and more, this is what you need to do. All of a sudden, if you feel that, you know, all of a sudden, it could be something else. Like somebody could be feeling it around you. And so I started to feel that words of knowledge. And and then all of a sudden, I got all these warts that started growing on my foot, the bottom of my foot. And they're actually plantar's warts. Very, very painful. And I was like, what is this, Lord? Like, I was actually kind of frustrated. I was like, what is this, you know? Very painful. And so the Lord was just like, yeah, you know, instead of just praying for yourself, you need to pray for other people right now that have plantar's warts. And so I just continued to pray for a month. For other people. And finally, this woman that came to the prayer room was like, I called out, I was like, does anybody need healing anywhere? And she's like, actually, it's kind of disgusting, but I have a plantar's wart in the bottom of my foot. And I was like, I got all excited. I was like, I'm supposed to pray for you. And so then I prayed for her, and immediately the wart fell off of her foot. And then 2 days later, all 5 or 6 of the warts fell off the bottom of my feet. And so the Lord just wanted me to pray for that particular person and people that have them. And so the Lord began to work that way. I began to see tons of awesome miracles and healings happen.
That's awesome. So we just want to encourage you today to really be sensitive and aware of what the Lord's speaking. He's wanting us to move in words of knowledge and gifts of prophecy and other gifts of the Spirit. And both of us really see these things as muscles that we need to learn how to exercise. And through exercising them and using them and stepping out in faith, that God gives us more and our muscles get exercised. And so we just want to encourage you, really be looking for opportunities to step out and operate in the gifts of the Spirit that God's given us, not for us, but that others would be touched by the love and the power of God, and that Jesus would receive all the glory.